Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the YouTube channel God Will Do It For You. My name is Steven, and I hope everyone's having a great day so far. And today we're going to talk more about why those that are chosen by God to perform a specific task often find themselves alone, no friends, isolated from family, and just many of the emotions that you go through while you're going through this process and trying to glorify God's kingdom and stay true to his will as well. And I know for a fact, for myself, this morning I woke up and man, I felt lonely. Now granted, I have my son, that's great, but and we know technically we aren't alone because we have God and the Holy Spirit, but physically I felt alone. And even though what I do to make money requires me to be around people, I get to speak and things of that nature, but there's just something about that absence of closeness that I really felt this morning, and it was really, I really wanted it. This is the easiest way to say it, and it just makes me think about why God has us this isolated, even in situations where you're like, well, I could have someone around me, but this isn't the person that I want around me per se. Honestly making you feel like you should just kind of accept anything sometimes just to have some company. I just feel like if you do that, though, it will backfire on you. It will. And that's why I tend to try to stay strong. But anybody of great faith and anybody of great purpose in the Bible has often found themselves alone. Jesus was alone. Moses was alone. David was alone. Joseph was alone. The story goes on. Many people of great faith found themselves alone before their purpose was fulfilled, and they then went to work and had everybody around them. Think about it. Once that period of aloneness was done and you were able to focus on your task and accomplish the work that God accomplished the work that he wanted to do inside you, then all of a sudden Moses had the people, the Israelites around him. Then all of a sudden Jesus had the disciples and everybody that he knew around him because of the work he needed to perform. Same thing with David. Then he became king once he came out of the cave, and he also had a great army around him. Then Joseph became second in command and had people around him all the time. And it's interesting that these periods of aloneness oftentimes requires us to be the most focused we've ever been. Because if God gave us what we wanted, meaning like, let's say we want a relationship or we wanted some friends or whatever the case may be, if he gave it to us right now, that person very well could unintentionally cause you to slow down or be distracted from what God needs you to do. And oftentimes that's why God holds it back, because he's like, well, if I give this to you now, do you understand the amount of attention that a relationship requires? Now all of this time that you would normally be doing work into this, you're going to be giving work into this person, or you're going to be talking on the phone now and things of that nature. And so it's a give and take type of thing. And we all just have to realize that sometimes it's required for us to be alone. Though we are human and we feel the emotion of feeling lonely. Now, we're not talking about feeling lonely like, hey, I got to have somebody around me to make me feel good. No, it's just a natural reaction like, I'm lonely. And that's okay to feel that. It's another thing to make decisions based off of that. That's different. That means you start becoming codependent on people and certain things to get you to feel a certain type of way. It's a dangerous thing. You should, single biblically means whole. And so you might want to make sure that that's not the case with you. And if it is, just continue to work on that, because that's a vulnerability, believe it or not. Somebody could snatch attention away from you and can really mess with you mentally. And also, God has us alone because he doesn't want us to be influenced by other people's mindsets. I promise you, anybody that dives deep into God more than the average person and isn't arrogant, isn't so self-righteous and things of that nature, when you talk about God the way that you do, I'm pretty sure people just look at you. They look at you, or they say, wow, I never heard anybody talk about God the way you talk about him, or, usually everybody talks about God in the aspect of pray, serve him, you get stuff. No, the God that I've experienced puts you through stuff. And the God that I've experienced, yes, he showed that he can put you in a messed up situation and also take you out of it even better. He can perform miracles. He can turn a bad situation, or allow a bad situation to bring about good, just like he did with Joseph. God has a way of doing certain things, and the only time that you can experience God is when you are intentionally seeking him and proving to him that you're taking this walk with him seriously. At that point, he starts to reveal himself to you. God does not want us to be influenced by other people. He wants us to be influenced by him. He doesn't want people in your ear. And sometimes having friends around you that can't relate will have you talking a different way than you normally would, because they can't relate. And maybe God does not want you to do that. Maybe God's like, no, I want you to freely talk about me unapologetically. I don't want you to be self-conscious about how you speak of me, because anybody that I talk to, I talk about God. Oh, I don't care if you believe in him or not. I talk about him, and that's just who I am. And I love that about me. That's why, yes, I have one friend, and then he lives an hour away, and so I don't see him, and even then we barely talk. And so if but he's consistent, I give him that. But otherwise, it's really, I got nobody. As far as like, hey, this is constant, they're right here. There's nobody. And I've come to realize that even though I'm at peace with the situation, I'm like, well, dang, God, I literally have nobody except you. And that's what God wants. He wants to have you all to himself. That way he can do what he does best, which is continue to develop you and mold you into who you are to become. One thing I've learned is people are easily influenced. Look at social media. We're in an attention-seeking world right now, where people are literally doing dangerous things for attention and for money. And the more we separate ourselves from the average person, believe it or not, the more you will actually stand out as a really decent individual, because a lot of people know the normal mindset. A lot of people are used to seeing people, hey, oh, there's a group of guys standing over there talking. I don't want to be standing over here alone, so let me go just stand over there and see if I can, ear something and then be able to chime in just so I can have some conversation with somebody. That is extrovert personality, which is fine. But there are people that do that just because they just want to be a part of the crowd. And when God has chosen you for a particular task, he has separated you for a reason, because you are meant to lead. And what do leaders do? Leaders are in the front. They're usually separated from those who they lead. Think of any leader. Think of your governor. The governor isn't around everybody. He is in his location doing what he needs to do. He puts in the rules, and then he or she goes back to business. They lead. And we have to always remember that we are separate for a reason. We are meant to stand out for a reason. And that is the glory of God. And that is why we have to stay strong. We have to maintain our focus so that way we can be intentional and give everything 110%. Because there will be a time where God starts, it's like, all right, you've done what I needed you to do. I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you that friend. I'm going to give you the community or the fellowship. I'm going to give you the wife or the husband that you desire. I'm going to give you these things. That's why I said seek the kingdom first, and then everything else should be added upon you. Because when you seek God first and when you do what he needs you to do, at that point he'll start to add in things as he sees fit when it's the right time. And the God I know, it sucks waiting. It does. I understand it, but it's okay. This is what this page is for, express yourself, be vulnerable. Who cares if somebody judges you or whatever, man? Who cares? This is why I love doing this, is because I'm giving you all this straight up real personality, giving you my walk as it goes along every single day. I know plenty of pages that they're like, hey, I want to post these videos that it's just the same topics over and over and over, but they're earning money off of it. So whatever their motive is, but I'm just giving you my experience, so that way you know that, hey, if you're going through something similar, you're not alone. You're not alone. We're all going through this together. We're all trying to get somewhere. We all have, when I say we all, those that choose to view this, and just anybody else as well, but we all have goals and desires and a purpose. It's just up to us to stand firm, stay strong and rooted, and make sure that the task gets done. So I hope this video's been a blessing. If you feel led to like, share, subscribe, definitely do so. Like I said, I know it gets lonely out here, but just stay strong, pray, let God know what you want, and at the right time, He'll make sure that you have it. All right, until next time.